Checkdown countdown net. Pad is clear.
10, 9, 8.
Launch auto sequence
7,
has started.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Go for launch.
Vehicle is supersonic.
Stage separation confirmed. Dragon, separation confirmed.
Stage 1 is transonic. Landing legs have deployed. And Falcon 9 has landed.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Kate Tice, and I'm the Quality Systems Engineering Manager here at SpaceX. I'll be your host for today's Starlink mission, which marks SpaceX's 7th launch of the year and the 206th overall mission to date. In addition to our 49 Starlink satellites, we have a rideshare on board our second stage today. D-Orbit is sending their 9th orbital transfer vehicle, ION SCV009 Eclectic Elena, into space during today's mission. The rideshare hosts payloads from the Munich-based space company HPS, U.S. company EBAD, the Swiss Institute EPFL, and the New Zealand company Stardust.me. Although we expect to have live views of D-Orbit's payload deploy, we likely will not have ground station coverage for the deployment of our Starlink satellites. Given that, we'll follow the mission through deployment of the D-Orbit vehicle and then wrap up our coverage after that around the T+1 hour mark. Currently, weather and range are both green, and we are proceeding with a T0 of 8:15 a.m. Pacific time from Vandenberg Space Force Base Pad 4 East. The teams are currently tracking no issues with the vehicles or spacecraft. And with liftoff just 3 minutes and 49 seconds from now, we are there seeing the TE retract away from the vehicle. That is the transporter erector, which is what is used to roll the vehicle out to the pad and lift it to its vertical launch position. There's about 25 seconds remaining in the LOX load for the first stage. Falcon 9 is fully loaded with its fuel, which is RP1 or Rocket Propellant 1. First stage LOX load will wrap in about 5 seconds, and second stage will wrap its LOX load. There we heard the call out, stage 1 LOX load is complete. Second stage LOX load is still underway, and that will wrap up at about T-2 minutes. As you can see, it's a cloudless sky there at Vandenberg. Gorgeous day to launch. About 30 seconds remaining in the LOX load for second stage. As I mentioned before, the first stage is now completely loaded with all of its propellants. Falcon 9 is a bipropellant vehicle, meaning it uses liquid oxygen, an oxidizer, as well as RP1 of fuel. And both of those are completely loaded on the first stage. Second stage has all of its fuel at RP1, and LOX load will wrap up here any second.
Stage 2 LOX load complete.
Falcon 9 is now fully loaded with 1 million pounds of fuel and liquid oxygen. Now the booster that you see there on your screen is flying for the 7th time today, previously having supported NROL 87, NROL 85, Sarah 1, SWOT, and 2 Starlink missions. After liftoff and stage separation, the booster is scheduled to land on our drone ship, Of Course I Still Love You, which is stationed out in the Pacific Ocean. Reusability allows SpaceX to refly the most expensive parts of the rocket,
Falcon 9
which
is in startup.
There we just heard the call out that Falcon 9 is now on internal power.
LD is go for launch.
And there we just heard, that was our final go for launch today, coming from our launch director. Let's watch as Falcon 9 takes our 49 Starlink satellites and the ION
T-minus 30 seconds.
ION SCV009 Eclectic Elena into space.
Fifteen seconds. T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Engines full power. And liftoff of Starlink 2-6. Go Falcon, go Starlink.
Vehicles pitching downrange.
M1D chamber pressure is nominal.
Now at T plus 30 flight, you can see Falcon 9 is fully lifted off from 4 East AM Pacific time.
Power and telemetry nominal.
Falcon 9 is supersonic.
Falcon 9 is now traveling faster than the speed of sound.
Max Q.
There we heard the call out for max Q, indicating that the vehicle has passed through the maximum dynamic pressure that it will feel during flight. We're about a minute away from main engine cutoff, stage separation, and SES1, which will all happen in quick succession. There we heard the call out for MVAC chill, indicating that that second stage engine, the MVAC, or Merlin vacuum engine, preparing for its ignition. Now those 3 events that will happen one right after another, that will be then followed by fairing separation just a few seconds later. As the name indicates, MECO, or main engine cutoff, is where all 9 of those Merlin engines on the first stage will shut down. Stage separation is where the first and second stages will separate, and then SES1, or second engine start 1, is where we will ignite that Merlin vacuum engine on the second stage.
Nico.
Stage separation confirmed.
MVAC ignition.
There you can see all 3 of those events happening one right after another, including with a successful second stage ignition. There on the left-hand side of your screen, we can see those grid fins deploying. Those will help steer the vehicle back down for a precise landing on
Fairing separation confirmed.
gorgeous view of that fairing separation, exposing our payloads to the vacuum of space. There you can see one of those fairing halves falling away behind in the background there on the right-hand side of your screen. We will attempt to recover the fairing halves using our recovery vessel NRC Quest. Both of the fairing halves flying on today's mission are flight proven. One half flew for the 5th time and the other for a 3rd. Currently, the first stage is on its way back to, or it will be making its way back to Earth. We can see that it's still just barely momentarily gaining in altitude if you follow along with the telemetry readout on the bottom left-hand side of your screen. So it has not yet reached its apogee, but it will be making its way back down to Earth momentarily and target a landing on our drone ship, Of Course I Still Love You. As I mentioned earlier, today's Starlink mission marks SpaceX's 206th mission overall and the 7th mission this year.
Nominal trajectory.
As a reminder, Starlink is a satellite internet constellation designed and manufactured by SpaceX to provide high-speed, low-latency internet to people living in remote and rural locations around the globe. Starlink is now available in Peru and also Nigeria, making it the first African country to receive service. As of now, Starlink is available in 46 countries and 56 markets around the world. As I mentioned before, the first stage views are on the left, second stage views on the right-hand side of your screen. And we can see that that first stage booster has passed through its apogee and is now making its way back down to planet Earth. Just a stunning view there of the globe in the background. In about 10 seconds, we'll have entry burn start up.
Stage 1 entry burn start up.
Stage 1 FTS has saved.
Stage 1, also known as the booster, has ignited 3 engines to help slow it down for atmospheric reentry. The first stage is used to launch our 49 satellites, and our D-Orbit rideshare payload into space today is flying for the 7th time. T plus 7 minutes
Nominal
and
trajectory.
5 seconds into flight, and everything is looking good for both the first and second stages. Beautiful views of that MVAC nozzle.
Stage 2 FTS
Stage 1
has saved.
entry transonic.
There we heard that the first stage is transonic, meaning it's traveling near the speed of sound. One thing to note, we may or may not have ground station coverage to confirm SECO-1 live. If that happens, if we happen to lose that ground station coverage before we're able to confirm that second engine cutoff, we'll tune into the nets.
Stage 2 in terminal guidance.
We'll tune into the nets and wait for confirmation when we connect to the next ground station.
Stage 1 landing burn.
There we can see the landing burn has begun for the first stage, targeting a landing on our drone ship. Of Course I Still Love You.
Stage 1 landing leg deploy. Stage 1 landing confirmed.
There you can see Falcon 9 has successfully landed on our drone ship, Of Course I Still Love You,
And back shutdown.
marking the 168th overall landing of an orbital class rocket, including F9 and Falcon Heavy missions.
Nominal parking orbit.
Expected loss of signal, Cook.
There we just heard it called out on the nets that we did achieve that nominal parking orbit. But the mission isn't over just yet. That second stage is still carrying our 49 Starlink satellites and our rideshare payload. The next milestone coming up is the second start and shutdown of our MVAC engine on the second stage. That SES-2 is currently scheduled to occur at the T+53 minute mark. So enjoy some space tunes for now, and we'll come back live in about 40 minutes.
Island. Loss of signal, Easter Island. Punta Arenas. Expected loss of signal, Punta Arenas. Acquisition of signal, control. control. signal, Mauritius. Acquisition of signal, Mauritius.
Welcome back to the webcast for the Falcon 9 mission carrying the 49 Starlink satellites and our rideshare payload for our customer D-Orbit. We've had a nominal mission so far, and we're coming up on the second stage relight and shutdown of our second stage engine, known as the MVAC or Merlin vacuum engine. It will be a super short burn, lasting just a couple of seconds.
MVAC ignition and shutdown.
Like I said, super short for that second engine start and second engine cutoff.
Nominal orbit insertion.
And there we just heard the call out for good orbit. Now, the Starlink satellites and D-Orbit's orbital transfer vehicle are still attached to Falcon 9's second stage. Our rideshare payload is set to deploy in about 3 minutes. So while we wait, sit back and enjoy the views and a couple more space jams.
Caught up to them.
Acquisition of signal, Maldives.
Welcome back once again to the webcast for the Falcon 9 mission, carrying our 49 Starlink satellites and rideshare payload for our customer.
Acquisition of signal, Reef.
For our customer, D-Orbit. We've had a nominal mission so far, and we're coming up on the deployment of our rideshare payload today. As a reminder, D-Orbit is sending their 9th orbital transfer vehicle, ION SCV009 Eclectic Elena, into space. ION SCV009 hosts onboard payloads from the Munich-based space company HPS, U.S. company EBAD, the Swiss Institute EPFL, and the New Zealand company Stardust.me. About 10 seconds away from that D-Orbit payload deploy.
ION SCV009 Eclectic Elena, separation confirmed.
And there we heard it with that confirmation of the deployment of ION SCV Eclectic Elena. That wraps up our launch coverage for today. A big thank you to D-Orbit for trusting us with their payload, and also a big thank you to all of you for tuning in. Now, just as a reminder, we won't have ground station coverage for the deployment of our Starlink satellites, so be sure to check out our social media for confirmation of deploy. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you soon.